France tried to get a seat at the table. Russia told them where to go. 2 words, no diplomatic language, no softening. Just a door, slammed in Europe's face. You. Moscow's message is clear. The only conversation that matters is with Washington. Europe can watch. And while Macron fumes, Russia says the battlefield is moving in its favour. The war in Ukraine has a new front. It's called irrelevance. Tensions between Russia and European powers have escalated sharply after Moscow reportedly dismissed France's attempt to play a role in negotiations over the war in Ukraine, underlining deep divisions over how the conflict should be resolved. According to a Financial Times report, Russian officials delivered a blunt message to French representatives, effectively rejecting any meaningful European participation in potential peace talks. The reported response reflects Moscow's growing frustration with European nations, which it accused of aligning too closely with Ukraine and the United States. The exchange is said to have occurred during diplomatic talks in which France sought to position itself, along with other European countries, as a mediator in efforts to end the war. However, Russia appears to have made clear that it does not view Europe as a neutral actor.
The Russian response from Ushakov was basically, "Sorry, actually, no, we don't. You."
The reported remark, while unusually direct in diplomatic terms, highlights the increasingly confrontational tone that has characterized relations between Russia and the West since the start of the war. France, under President Emmanuel Macron, has repeatedly argued that Europe must have a central role in shaping any future settlement in Ukraine, given the continent's security interests and the war's direct impact on European stability. However, Moscow has consistently pushed back against this idea, accusing European governments of prolonging the conflict through military and financial support to Ukraine. Russian officials argue that countries supplying weapons to Kyiv cannot simultaneously act as credible mediators. The latest exchange suggests that Russia is instead prioritizing direct engagement with the United States, which it sees as the primary decision-maker behind Western support for Ukraine.
The Europeans don't want to help the peace process. When the representative of France came, he didn't bring any positive signals, and so there was indeed nothing positive for him to hear. Unfortunately, the Europeans are spending all their efforts on convincing the Ukrainians to continue the war. We are convinced the Europeans are making a mistake from the perspective of their own future.
The Kremlin spokesperson added that Russia believes battlefield momentum remains in its favor.
The dynamic on the front is positive for us. We are advancing and getting closer to achieving our goals. But as President Vladimir Putin said, we are open to a diplomatic settlement.
A senior Ukrainian official told the Financial Times that Russia was not serious about ending the war because it continues to insist on demands Kyiv cannot accept, while adding that Ukraine would wait and see whether Washington's growing focus on Iran affects diplomatic contacts. As the war continues with no clear resolution in sight, the question of who will ultimately sit at the negotiating table remains unresolved. For now, Russia's message suggests that Europe may find itself on the sidelines of any future peace process, even as the consequences of the conflict continue to be felt most acutely on the continent itself. Explosions rocked occupied Crimea overnight as Ukrainian forces struck several Russian air defense assets, including a launcher from an S-400 surface-to-air missile system and 2 radar stations. The strikes targeted key elements of Russia's air defense network on the peninsula, which Moscow has used to control airspace over southern Ukraine and the Black Sea. The General Staff confirmed the strikes in a statement posted on social media, noting that the operation was a part of ongoing efforts to weaken Russia's air defense capabilities.
As part of efforts to reduce the air defense capabilities of the Russian aggressor, on the night of March 15th, units of the Ukrainian Defense Forces struck the 59N6E Protivnik and 73E6 Parol radar stations in the area of Libknechtivka in temporarily occupied Ukrainian Crimea. In addition, a launcher belonging to the S-400 Triumph surface-to-air missile system was reportedly hit near Dalny in the temporarily occupied territory of the Autonomous Republic of Crimea.
The Protivnik radar is a long-range surveillance system designed to detect and track aircraft, cruise missiles, and ballistic targets at high altitudes. The Parol system is used to identify aircraft as friend or foe within Russia's air defense network. However, the Russian Defense Ministry denied the claims, stating that its air defenses intercepted and destroyed 87 Ukrainian drones overnight across multiple. The General Staff also confirmed that a Valdai radar system struck by Ukrainian forces near Primorske in occupied Crimea on March 10th sustained significant damage. The Valdai radar is designed to detect and counter low-flying drones. Systematically targeting Russian air defense systems helps reduce Moscow's ability to control airspace and protect other military facilities. Ukraine didn't just stop there and went on to choke Russia's naval capabilities. As part of the same operation, its military intelligence agency, HUR, claimed a successful strike on 2 Russian ships ferrying weapons, equipment through Kerch Strait.
On the night of March 13-14, 2026, specialists from the Department of Active Operations of Ukraine's Military Intelligence, HUR, carried out successful strikes on 2 warships of the Russian aggressor state. As a result of the operation, the enemy railway ferry Slavyanin was put out of action and the vessel Avant-Garde was damaged, both of which Russia used to conduct its criminal war against Ukraine.
HUR also described both ships as a key part of Russia's Kerch ferry service, used to supply ammunition and equipment to Russian forces fighting against Ukraine.
These ships were key elements of the so-called Kerch ferry crossing and played a central role in the aggressor's maritime military logistics, including the transport of weapons, military equipment, and ammunition.
The Kerch Strait, a 35-kilometer, 21-mile waterway linking the Black Sea and the Sea of Azov, separates the Kerch Peninsula in Russian-occupied Crimea from Russia's Taman Peninsula and serves as a key logistics corridor for Moscow. Ukrainian forces have struck a major Russian military-industrial facility deep inside Russian territory, targeting a key microelectronics plant linked to the country's missile production chain. According to a March 10th statement from the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine, Ukrainian forces used Storm Shadow missiles to hit the Kremlin EL Group plant in Bryansk. The facility is considered a critical supplier of semiconductor components used in Russia's precision-guided weapon systems.
Kremlin L is a critically important link in the chain of production of Russian high-precision weapons. The plant specializes in discrete semiconductor devices and integrated microchips that serve as the brains and nervous system of modern weapons.
Ukrainian officials say the strike forms part of a broader campaign aimed at weakening Russia's defense industrial base. The General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported that the target was successfully hit and that significant damage was recorded at the production facilities, though the full scale of destruction is still being assessed. The Kremlin EL Group, founded in 1958, produces more than 1,200 types of electronic components, including integrated circuits, transistors, diodes, and power modules used in missile guidance and control systems. According to open-source data and Russian regional authorities, over 90% of the plant's output supports Russia's defense industry. Its components are used in major Russian weapons platforms such as the Iskander missile system, Pantsir air defense system, Topol-M, Bulava, as well as the S-300 air defense system and S-400 air defense system. Videos circulating on social media showed multiple explosions and a large plume of smoke rising over the industrial complex. Open-source analysts cited by Astra said several missiles appeared to strike the facility, including one impact on an assembly workshop. The strike was also confirmed by Ukrainian leadership. Speaking during an online media briefing on March 10th, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said the operation specifically targeted Russia's missile control systems production.
An operation has just successfully taken place. A plant in Bryansk was hit. This plant manufactures control systems for all types of missiles, of which the Russian Federation.
Russian authorities acknowledged the attack but reported casualties. Bryansk Regional Governor Alexander Bogomaz said 6 people were killed and 37 injured. Moscow has also accused Western countries of direct involvement in the strike. Responding to the attack, Dmitry Peskov alleged that British specialists played a role in launching the missiles.
Obviously, launching these missiles was impossible without UK specialists. We are aware of this and we take it into account. To make sure such inhuman actions by the Kiev regime do not continue, a special military operation is being carried out. The demilitarization of Kiev and depriving it of the ability to launch such barbaric strikes is one of the goals of the special military operation.
Peskov also addressed the broader diplomatic track of the war, saying negotiations could still continue under certain frameworks.
The Istanbul option exists and all parties have a very positive attitude towards it.
The strike highlights Ukraine's continuing strategy of targeting Russia's military-industrial supply chains far beyond the front lines as the war enters another phase of long-range precision attacks.